In the dust-choked plains of ancient Macedonia, a storm was gathering. Not of wind or rain, but of ambition, forged in the heart of a prince destined to scorch his name across the known world. This is the story of a boy who inherited a kingdom and demanded an empire. This is the rise of Alexander the Great. Our story begins not with a crown, but with a prophecy. In 356 BC, on the night Alexander was born, the great temple of Artemis at Ephesus, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, burned to the ground. A sign, the mystics whispered, that a force of immense destruction and creation had entered the world. He was the son of Philip II, a brilliant, brutal king who transformed Macedonia from a backwater into a military powerhouse. But Philip's shadow was long, and to escape it, Alexander would have to conquer the world. From his youth, Alexander was different. While other boys played games, he was tutored by the greatest mind of the age, Aristotle. The philosopher taught him of poetry, medicine, and the vast, unconquered lands to the east. But it was his mother, the fiery Olympias, who whispered in his ear that he was no mere mortal. She claimed his true father was Zeus, king of the gods. Did he believe it? Perhaps. What mattered was that it ignited a fire within him, a belief that he was destined for something more than a throne. He was destined for glory. His first test came not on a battlefield, but in a stable. A magnificent black stallion, Bucephalus, was brought before King Philip. Wild, untamable, it reared and fought against every man who tried to ride it. Philip, frustrated, ordered the horse be taken away. But Alexander, just a boy, stepped forward. He had noticed something others had missed. The horse was afraid of its own shadow. He gently turned Bucephalus towards the sun, calmed him with his voice, and swung himself onto its back. In that moment, a legend was born. The boy and the horse, united by understanding, would one day ride to the very edge of the world. Philip wept, not with sadness, but with pride and a touch of fear. "My son," he said, "Macedonia is too small for you. Seek a kingdom equal to yourself." But destiny is a treacherous path. In 336 BC, at his own daughter's wedding, King Philip was assassinated, struck down in a theatre filled with his subjects. The motives are still debated. A spurned lover, a political conspiracy. Some even whispered the name of Olympias and Alexander himself. The kingdom teetered on the brink of collapse. At just 20 years old, Alexander seized the moment. There was no time for grief. He moved with lightning speed, executing his rivals, crushing rebellions, and solidifying his power with ruthless efficiency. His message was clear. The king is dead. Long live the king. The boy was gone. A conqueror stood in his place. With Macedonia secure, Alexander turned his gaze east to the colossal Persian Empire, the superpower that had humbled the Greeks for generations. It was an audacious, almost insane plan. His army was small, his treasury nearly empty. The Persian king, Darius III, commanded endless legions and unimaginable wealth. But Alexander had something Darius did not, an unshakable belief in his own destiny. In the spring of 334 BC, he crossed the Hellespont into Asia, leaving his old life behind forever. He famously threw his spear from his ship, claiming the land of Asia as a spear-won prize. He was not just invading, he was claiming what he believed was rightfully his. The first clash came at the Granicus River. The Persians held the high ground, confident their cavalry would crush the Macedonian upstarts. Alexander's generals advised him to wait. Alexander ignored them. He led the charge himself, plunging with Bucephalus into the river, his golden helmet a beacon in the chaos. It was a maelstrom of steel and spray. Alexander was nearly killed, saved only by a friend's quick spear. But his insane courage shattered the Persian line. The victory was total, and it sent a shockwave across the empire. This was no ordinary Greek invader. This was something new, something terrifying. One by one, the great cities of Asia Minor fell. But it was at the city of Gordium that Alexander faced a different kind of challenge. An ancient prophecy stated that whoever could untie the intricate Gordian knot, a complex tangle of rope tied to an ox cart, would rule all of Asia. For hours he studied it, tracing the impossible loops. Then, in a flash of inspiration or frustration, he drew his sword and sliced it in two. He didn't solve the puzzle, he shattered it. He would not play by the old rules, he would make his own. The decisive confrontation came at Issus. Darius III, determined to crush this young upstart, brought his full imperial army. He vastly outnumbered Alexander, trapping the Macedonians against the sea. For any other general, it would have been the end. For Alexander, it was an opportunity. Ignoring the masses of infantry, he identified his one true target, Darius himself. He gathered his elite companion cavalry and carved a path directly towards the Persian king's chariot. The two men locked eyes across the battlefield, the king of a small nation and the ruler of a continent. Faced with Alexander's furious, almost supernatural charge, Darius panicked. He turned his chariot and fled, his army dissolving into chaos behind him. Alexander had not just won a battle, he had broken the will of an empire. After Issus, Alexander captured the Persian royal family, including Darius's mother, wife, and daughters. But in an age of brutality, he showed them an unexpected courtesy, treating them with honor and respect. Darius's mother, Sisygambis, was so moved that she would eventually come to call Alexander her son, the only son she would acknowledge. Even in his conquests, he was weaving a new kind of story, one where mercy could be as powerful a weapon as the sword. Alexander's journey was far from over. The sands of Egypt awaited, where they would name him Pharaoh and declare him a god. The final battle with Darius at Gaugamela still loomed, a conflict that would decide the fate of Asia. His march would take him to the hanging gardens of Babylon, to the riches of Persepolis, and to the mountains of India, at the very edge of the known world. His ambition was a fire that could not be quenched, a hunger that could not be filled. He would build an empire larger than any the world had ever seen, but in the end, would it be enough? The boy who tamed Bucephalus had set out to conquer the world, but his greatest enemy, his own insatiable ambition, was still waiting. The rise was complete. The legend had just begun. Thank you for watching. If this story of ambition and destiny captivated you, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more journeys into the epic heart of history. We'll see you on the next one.